my direction was, they told me to go to coal mine. And this was the coal mine where you crawl into the cave. You're digging coals with literally can't even head up. And where the coals you're digging are, often the mines are collapsed and amputating young people's legs and hands, or some of them are killed. My name is Timothy Cho, and I was born in North Korea. It took me a very long journey and twice escaped and imprisoned 4 occasions in China and North Korea. And I'm here to open this box, and they are full of questions. Is it a cult of personality around the Kim family? Indeed. Within North Korea itself, how they have created a mythical family of the Kim, and from first and second, first Kim, great leader, eternal leader, he never dies. And the second Kim, therefore, is a son of God, son of the first Kim. What they said, second Kim, when he was born, there was a giant star appeared above the house where he was born. And what it portrayed, the story of Jesus. So the first Kim was an eternal leader, never dies. The second Kim was a son of God. And now they have a third Kim. And you are worshiping entire life from that early age, inside the home and outside. People on every national holiday, they have to go to Kim family statue, bow to statue. That is worship. But when I was in North Korea, I worshipped this man of God cult of personality because I was brainwashed. When the first Kim died, when I was 7 probably, and I remember whole school was crying. And I thought, actually, my God died. And for 3 days, I didn't eat. I genuinely believed when our God dies, and we all could die. But my father told me, he's not died. He lives in our heart forever. Is it true you can only have regulation hairstyles in North Korea? Yeah, that's certainly true. Whether there are 1 or 2 or 3, what is the matter is that in school you have a standard hairstyles, both boy and girls. If you have something different and longer or shorter or different style of hairstyles, even the teacher with the ruler come to measure your hair, the size here, and if it's something different than the school guided to society, then your parents in trouble, and now you're being summoned to come to police station and to talk about it and writing statement. What is media censorship and propaganda like? Well, you buy a TV in North Korea, the government come to your house, they take all channels out and leave only one channel. What is it about? A Kim family and program, documentary, songs, whole 24/7. If you watch TV, it is all about the Kim family propaganda. And songs, every song is about Kim family propaganda. And history is all about Kim family propaganda. What are public events like singing, market, etc.? If you are foreign tourists and you go to North Korea tries to show some of great events. So they have a good mass event, people doing dance and celebrating like New Year or Kim family's birthday celebrations. But one of the public events, and I still think it is children abuse, because you see some of the public events where hundreds of thousands of children gathered in Pyongyang Square, and their movement is very solidified. They don't make a 1 centimeter mistake. Can you imagine these young children and who have been so given intense training days and nights, but they in their heart they feel they are honored because it is where it comes from, very young age. and indoctrination, if I have to say. And I remember when I was in nursery that we were told if anyone who wants to do extra loyalty and love and devotions, and you may go to Kim family statues early in the morning with a brush and cloth, and you make them shine and clean it. And you come to school next week and tell the story proudly that, oh, this week I went to where Kim family statue placed and cleaned and what time. So then a school teacher praise your actions, and so others may want to do as well. So make within, such as the competition, even within the children of the loyalty and love, devotions to Kim family. So the whole society itself, the environment creating a public event. How does the government monitor and surveil people? I think many of you watched the Hunger Games film. And when I was watching this film, that each district had number in that film. And it's exactly how North Korean society operates. Every town, village, cities, they have district and number. Each district, if it's a 40 family, one person who is being a supervisor and being monitored, watched people around. So this is constant surveillance. And also, if you are especially come from hostile family background, whether you are in school or work, whatever you are, your neighbors, friends, and any your social life continue being watched, but being watched not also while I'm watching you over another person behind my shoulder watching me as well. So it's hard to trust anyone. It's crazy, yeah, how this systematic persecution has created this kind of an entire prison society of surveillance. Did you witness public execution? Yes, I did. I was about 11, and we were told to come to that square and in my hometown where about 10,000 people live, population. And all these others were watching that public execution. And meanwhile, children told us sat at the front of the crowd where 3 men had a weapon, each one had, and 3 bullets, and that each 3 bullets went into part where blinded and tied up. That was a public execution. But what I did at the end of the public execution, I collected that the bullet covers dropped on the floor, and I collected 2 pieces of them. I don't know why I did, but if I go back to memory that time, they were normalized how criminals, when you betray the country, how you could be punished like them. Probably thousands of cases of public executions have been held in North Korea. One day when we opened the door, we discovered all these buried bodies. I think that will be one of the reminding of Holocaust memorial pictures in North Korea. How are people assigned jobs? What kind of jobs are there? The education system, although it is a brainwashing education, it goes almost like other countries. You start going to nursery and primary school 4 years, middle school 3 years, high school 3 years. And after that, most of the boys, they are forcibly, well, it is mandatory in North Korea national service. You have to join the army for 10 years. If you want to get good jobs in North Korea, you must join the army. And after the army served, you can go to university. If it's the children from the elite families, they can also take their children away from military service, and they could go to one of the elite universities, what they so-called Kim Il-sung University and others. If you come from farmer's background, your parents are farmers, you continue to carry out the farm jobs as a farmer. And if you come from workers, you continue with the working industry. And most of jobs, it is a government assigned. And it's sad that I wasn't even able to get one of these assigned jobs. Well, my direction was, they told me to go to coal mine. And this was the coal mine where you crawl into the cave, and there are no health and safety. You're digging coals with literally can't even head up. And where the coals you're digging are, often the mines are collapsed and amputating young people's legs and hands, or some of them are killed. So, there are not such that you can make your own choice in North Korea. Not available in North Korea, I have to say. Right, here is the next question. How powerful in the North Korean military? That question is very close to the current North Korean troops in Russia and assisting and supporting Putin's illegal war and fighting against democratic people of Ukraine. It could be, I don't know whether I could say powerful. Other context here is that there are 7 million army in North Korea, but what they so-called standby army, about 1 million, they are follow Kim's order. They could be even decide to die for the Kim family. As I was young and watching all these propaganda North Korean films, often in the film they do that before they die. Glory Kim family, a great leader. They with their slogan, and they kill by themselves, or even with a grenade they detonate. So it's about the mentality, I have to say. If they are brainwashed from a very young age, join the military, give life and devotion to the Kim family, I think this is a part we may have to concern. When we saw Hitler's soldiers killed many millions of Jewish people, those followed the orders from Hitler. So that could have compared, rather than we call them powerful. How does North Korea economy work? It's not that hard question, but it's also quite a tragic question, because the collapse of the economy in North Korea, it killed over millions of people and died of starvation in 1990s. This is a period where I also had to pick up food on the streets, where I even had experienced the hunger. And so in 1990s, along with the collapse of the Soviet Union, North Korean market was into isolation. They could not have many trading partners all of a sudden when it collapsed. And they should have opened the economic doors, opening the doors with outside. But North Korea chose into isolation, killed millions of, which means what North Korea so-called the central distribution system is collapsed. So you collect the food, the centralized government, and you distribute to people equally, but that doesn't work anymore. So economy is inevitable. That is gone into isolation, and people are still going through starvation. This is one of the things. I continue to argue. While North Korea putting huge amount of money into its nuclear weapon investment, and that goes at least $800 million US. 25 million population. If you just want to feed them with a $800 million, that could go even more than 1 year without labor. However, North Korea is composed of 70% of mountains, not enough rice fields where they can produce, and also their scientific development is very, very low because they have no money to invest in it itself. So ordinary people, they're no longer in the eyes of government, where they survive, produce food in mountains, what we so-called in Western countries allotments, what you grow corn, beans, and other crops and try to survive. Do they let foreigners in? Yes, they want more foreigners to visit North Korea and try to show the country around, but they don't show or take you that you can access and speak with ordinary people. Your trip is completely now guided by North Korea's guidance and tour guidance, and of course they speak fluent English, and also they go take you. Even if you go for a morning or evening walk and someone who is wearing the smart suit follow you all the way. So it is, I could say also, maybe safest country to travel because they always follow you, but you have to be very careful because if you do anything that they don't ask you to do, they arrest you even in jail, which Otto Warmbier, the US university student, who was detained in a North Korean prison cell for years, and on his return he was internally paralyzed and died sadly. Plus, you're not able to take your mobile phone and internet when you travel to North Korea. So imagine for whole 10 days without your phone, or you cannot access to update or talk to your family. That's how the trip is, what they ask for. How is the hierarchy structure within North Korean society? I think this is the key part of systematic persecution in North Korea. And why North Korea remains the darkest and oppressed country in the world and completely blockade. One of the reasons they could continue to control the whole population structuralized within 3 different classifications. If we look at this country, how it was originally established upon what they so-called communism or socialism, what they even said, it's a classless society, everyone is equal. But that is something I'm testing words so far, what they went beyond the core class, what they so-called, and mainly a lot, those about up to 25% live in Pyongyang, and party members, and in the middle, what they call wavering class. I could easily compare it as a middle class, and that's about up to 55, and rest of about up to 30 could be a hostile or enemy class. But those up to who are within and belong to the enemy and hostile class, which I was in the category of class as well and discriminated, you are constantly being monitored, watched by the North Korean regimes. And what kind of people are? Who are they? They are the members of who defected or who have family members outside North Korea. So it is structured within 3 major classifications itself, and within that category, they also have over 50 the subcategory of classification. If you're born as a farmer, you remain as a farmer. If you're born as a worker, your children continue to remain as a worker, and that's what it still goes, the society, what it looked like olden days. What is health care like in North Korea? Yes, I can say North Korea has free healthcare systems. When people are ill, they go to hospital, and the doctors are there prescribe. But there are no medications. It is the poorest medical facilities in the world. And they give you prescription. With that prescription, you have to find the medications, whether you go to on a black market to buy, but if it's ordinary people, quite expensive, you cannot buy it. So then what do? You go to mountains and digging out the herb plant and you boil it. So when you have a tummy ache, diarrhea, headache, you usually go to mountains and boil such as certain plants and you drink it. But side effects, massive. So if you see which country has the highest percentage of tuberculosis patients, it is in North Korea. And if we see There are many drug addicts. Which country is part? I can also say North Korea is one of the countries. Why? Because North Korea doesn't have medications enough. So people grow poppies in their gardens and they collect the liquid and they eat as a painkiller. But that is not something properly processed. And therefore, most of the people have side effects. And what message would you want to send to people living in the regime? I don't think I have forgotten them. Every minute I did think of this country and people who I spent and lived and grew up there, and they're lovely people, and they are people like us. They are people who laugh, who talk, and who want to go to watch football game, and want to entertain and films and listen to songs, just like every one of us. And it is very sad that they can have life like what we have in the UK and US and other countries. In North Korea, the people survive on a daily basis. And it is not something what they chose. They just gave too many years to be held into this darkest regime of the police state, and everything runs by and controlled and by the Kim family. But it is a beautiful country. One day, I hope you will be able to travel to that country and see the beautiful mountains, landscape, and people of North Korea. I just want to say one sentence to my fellow North Koreans inside. Please do not lose your hope. There are people outside, and we fight for you. My last question. Do you miss North Korea? I do miss it, and I am still in exile life for many years now. And there are some North Korean escapees also settled in the United Kingdom and in the US, Western European countries, and South Korea. If you go to the Korean border between North and South, there are many letters from North Korean defectors. If you read that, one of the letters, it is heartbreaking, forcefully. And it is in part still in my heart, the country I was born, and the country and people who are deserved to be loved and treated and enjoy a life means of freedom. And I love North Korean people. Thank you.
For me, as a kid from the 90s, it was normal for me and for my other comrades to tattoo a swastika. I used to have a swastika here in the middle.